Hello, good morning and welcome to a equipment review. And we thought we'd come out today, Camilla and I, to the Devonish Nature Reserve, a place we've been here before for the woodpecker. And anyway, very nice location, very close to home, just a short cycle ride away, so no bother at all. Anyway, the equipment review today on Camilla and I is the fantastic 135mm Sony G Master f1.8. So what makes this such a top quality piece of glass, and why I would add it to my kit almost immediately. So what specs do you get on this particular lens? Well, it's a fixed 135 focal length and a very fast f1.8. Stunning new glass, optical design with an XA elements and super ED glass, 4 XD linear motors offering astounding tracking speed and precision with quiet vibration free movement, relatively lightweight, 82mm filter size. So it's got the focus hold or program modes, a close focus to 0.7 of a meter. I think it's the shortest distance for this particular lens, an aperture ring for quick selection of the aperture, and focus limiter settings on the side of the barrel as usual. Yeah, something I don't think I've ever had on a lens before. That's a click on and off for the aperture ring. So if you want it to go click 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 click, you can set the click mode, which doesn't really make much for click mode, but I don't know if you can hear that. Anyway, if you press that, it doesn't, it's just smooth. Incredible. Never had that before on a lens. Anyway, when you pay this sort of money for a lens, I suppose you expect that sort of feature. Okay. So amazing specs. Also the lens hood's quite good as well. It's got one of these little focus locking things as well, which just a little lock, which yeah, goes quite well. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, yeah, just locks in place. Slides it in. Locks in place. Beautiful. So why did I purchase this lens? Well, it was cheap, I suppose, at the moment. Well, relatively cheap for this sort of lens. At the moment, you can get it in Castle cameras for $14.99 with the extra £100 off for the Sony. So would normally be $15.99, but Sony are giving another £100 off. So up until January the 31st. So check out Castle cameras for your latest stock levels. Anyway, at some point inflation is going to come and we are going to have to pay for this complete disaster we're in at the moment, and I believe that prices will rise. So at the moment I'm adding to my kit in order to sort of future-proof myself against capital expenditure. There will be a review coming hopefully for an even more expensive lens soon, which is the 600 f4, because I've decided to take the plunge now because I feel that the price will only escalate. So I'm hoping it's a good time to make some capital purchases, but we'll see. Future-proof your kit. Keep your local camera shop going, more to the point. So this is my fastest telephoto lens in the Sony lineup at f1.8, and you can't exactly see in the dark, but you can obtain usable images which other lenses you will not. So with wildlife photography, as usual, it's all about getting shots that you wouldn't otherwise normally get. So a camera with an amazing low light level is exceptionally useful, especially here in the UK. It's not always such a nice sunny day as it is now today. So it's all about getting images which are not the usual and not usually possible. The quality is unparalleled in this lens. This is one of the sharpest, quickest lenses money can buy, and I suppose that's a reason alone enough to have it. And obviously it's a great portrait lens as well if you do happen to take a few portraits. I'm also hoping to use it from the video point of view, linked to the Badger video, because of its low light capabilities and its angle of view. 135mm is quite a useful angle of view for video anyway, and it gets a much better image at the low light levels. So it's possible also to trigger a camera remotely. So again, if you know exactly where your animal is going to be, I could trigger this lens and get an incredibly sharp image, incredible detail. Also, you can get an incredible shallow depth of field at f1.8. I'll demonstrate in a minute, because that's why I brought it to this middle of the forest. I have taken a few photographs earlier on in the day, so we'll have a link to a few photographs taken earlier in the day, but mostly these are sort of landscapes of the forest here at the Devonish Reserve. Lovely place. This lens does have an amazing property in a 135mm lens. I think this is the closest focusing 135 in existence. I might be wrong there, but tell me in the comments below if I'm wrong. But anyway, the Sony 135 has got this ability to focus down to 0.7 of a millimeter. Now this is incredibly close for a 135 lens, and this takes it into what you call sort of sub macro capabilities. So what I'm going to demonstrate now today, just a little bit of example, is photographing a mushroom. Obviously it's autumn, so there's quite a few mushrooms around. Anyway, that's why I'm sitting on this cold wet damp patch. Yeah, I do choose my locations, but anyway, the pain, Camilla and I, you know, it was a 3-mile cycle ride here this morning. I hope you appreciate the pain that Camilla and I go through to bring you these videos. Don't forget, of course, like and subscribe, because we're still trying to grow the channel. Anyway, onward and upward. More upward, I think. Anyway, I shall link now. I'll show you what we're going to try and photograph. Yeah, so that's why we come to the Devonish today, because I thought there would be a few mushrooms around, being autumn, and what a great subject to actually photograph and get in really close, demonstrating an unusual use in wildlife photography for the 135. So anyway, let's get on with it. I'll just show you the subject in question. It's not always the big things in life, it's the little things that make good photographs as well. And all we've got here is just a couple of little steps. I'll just see if I can zoom in on them. So there we are, excellent little subject to photograph. Camilla and I, we will get in on the act with these down here. Incredible. So the first thing, of course, is you have to find your mushrooms. This is where it's well worth a good idea to bring someone with you, because it's an art in itself, finding the fungi. And here are these guys on this rotting tree. So the next thing now, having found your fungi, in this case I think they're seps, to be criticised later in the comments, but yeah, I think these are seps, pretty obvious. Anyway, the next thing you want to do is tie them up. I mean, be careful guys, because obviously these are as common as muck, but don't go around cutting the actual mushrooms or anything else. But you know, you do want to tidy the general image, because bits like this don't look very good in the shot. So cut those out, or remove those, move those to one side. Just move as much as you can to one side. So I'm not really cutting with a knife as such, you know. A bit of straw like that, that's going to go, because that would go right across your shot and that would really ruin it. So there's quite a bit to this. There's quite a bit of gardening. The real best fungi shots, just like the best wildlife shots, there's a lot of gardening just gone on before you take the shot. So anyway, I'll speed it up a bit. So link to gardening. Sometimes excessive gardening can ruin the shot, so try not to do excessive gardening. Okay, the next item to bring in is Camilla herself. Bring the camera into the scene. But first of all, this is going to be a tripod shot, so I have to be at least 0.7 meters back with the tripod using this lens. It's a great idea to go around with your camera first, get the location of where you want your tripod to go, because then it saves a lot of messing around later on with tripod legs, etc. So get your camera position. So here I am with my flippy out screen, and I'm just judging the distance I can go back to before taking the photograph, and I seem to have to be about at this length and this height to take the photograph. So now I've got my tripod in position and camera roughly where I want it to be, I can now work on my composition. Okay, so here we are back in the I think I'm just adjusting the focus, and we're on f1.8, and this is literally just going to give us the rim of the mushroom in focus. So and I put it on the self timer, so we'll see what we get with that. And this is wide open at f1.8, so we've had to set 1/2500th of a second. Then we're going to try another aperture, which is going to be, let's try f4. Okay, and we'll see what we're getting focusing wise there, and we get slightly more of the mushroom in focus. See the clever manual focus, manual focus, very useful in this case. And now we'll try it at f4. Oh, I didn't change the exposure there. We'll probably have to come down a bit on the exposure. Let's change that a minute. Probably 1000, I think. We'll have a go at that. This is the thing, you just experiment around, see where you get to. Okay, right, now we'll have a quick look at those. Yep, so that's f4. I think that's probably going to be the best shot, around about f4. And that's f1.8 wide open. So anyway, yeah, get the idea. Amazing lens, and it's all around playing around with the depth of field you require. Obviously my macro lens is f2.8, superbly sharp, the Sony 90mm macro. Check out that vlog on the 90mm macro review on that lens. An incredible lens, even sharper than this one I would suggest. But not only a G lens, but macro lenses are superbly sharp. And under normal circumstances, yes, I would take this shot with a 90mm macro lens, but this just demonstrates the capabilities of this lens and its flexibility. And indeed, sometimes, like today, it's just lovely to come out with one lens. If you're a bit stuck in a rut, this, that and the other, just stick one lens on your camera and get out in the countryside and see what you can take with that one lens. The limitations of a fixed focal length, I mean, you could take a zoom with you, cheat, but if you do a 135 or a 90mm macro, see what you can get with just that lens. Don't take any other kit, just go light and see what you get, and it's amazing. So good little tip, stuck in a rut, get out there with one lens and see what you get. So Camilla and I, great day today. Hope you enjoyed it. I mean, it's a bit different. I mean, it is a 135mm review principally, but obviously we've got down and dirty and hopefully demonstrated one use of this lens. Primarily I'll be using it as a portrait, animal portrait lens when I have a big enough subject in the frame. Okay, so a quick coffee break. The army have sent out a helicopter to search for me, so I had to stop vlogging for a second there, but cheers anyway. So yeah, what a marvellous lens, the 135mm 1.8 G Master macro lens, fixed focal 135 lens it's absolutely superb, amazingly sharp, and anyway, we'll see what we get. I'll link to a few photos at the end. Took some shots earlier on when I was around. Yeah, if you get anything out of these videos, don't forget, like, subscribe, usual, helps to grow the channel. Get out there with one fixed lens, well worth it. You never know what you're going to get. So anyway, bye from Camilla and I for now, and look forward to hopefully see you in the next one. Cheers for now, bye.